Hey, welcome to Papa Does. Today, Papa Does is going to be doing ribs. Starting out with some loin backs. I'm going to trim them down to St. Louis cut. I'm going to take the membrane off the back. I'll season them up. I'll get them out on the smoker. We'll wrap them in a few hours, and then we'll do the final setting of the barbecue sauce. You know, that won't take long at all. But anyway, stay tuned, and we'll get going through this thing. So here's what we have is our loin back rib. As you can see, it looks pretty ugly. It's got this big skirt hanging on it. It's really not symmetrical. A lot of fat. So this is how I'm going to tackle this. First thing I'm going to do is take off this skirt. As you can see, if I flip this around, you can see the skirt right here. Okay, we don't want that. We're going to take that off. So you just lift up the side of it, or the end of it, slice through, kind of make it as close as possible to the surface of the rib itself. Okay. What do you do with this? Well, I'll throw it in the smoker with everything else, and I'll probably end up giving it to Kaiser. So anything got hanging off, here's another piece. All right, let's square this thing off. Okay, so if you look at this thing, when you buy a St. Louis cut rib, it's pretty much rectangular and squared and everything else. So that's what we're going to do right now. You see this this line of fat right here? We're going to cut right through there, right on that, all the way down the rib. Now when you do this, you're going to hit some bone, but it's pretty soft. You can get through it. So, and there you go. Now, this I will smoke with the ribs, season up. It's good eating. It's just, you know, it doesn't look pretty on the rib itself. Okay, so extra fat over here. I'm going to trim that off. You don't need a lot of fat. You need some for flavor, but you know, you don't want to take a whole bite of fat. So we can trim that off. Probably use a sharper knife, but that's all that I got right now. Okay. So that side's not bad. This side I'm going to square off here. This will give me another. You want to look at the bone. You find your longest bone right there. I'm going to cut this part off right here. All right, cut that last bone or two off. Square that up. That'll be another piece for Kaiser. So now you got a pretty much kind of rectangular piece. I'm going to probably trim this off. That'll be garbage. You got that, you got that. Okay, so that's pretty much trimmed up. Flip it over, you'll see this membrane on here. Some people have a hard time doing it. Sometimes I do. Let's see how this works. Filming this, or making a video of this, I'll probably mess it up pretty bad. But sometimes you can get it all off on one piece. You see, you dig underneath that, lift, dig, lift, dig, lift, dig, lift. The edges are pretty hard sometimes. Okay, so you got that. Now what you want to do, take a piece of paper towel, grab that membrane. Are you watching this? Grab that membrane, peel it up, make sure, okay. So you got that much peeled off, right? Take your paper towel, just like that. There you go. There's your membrane. All right. Be right back. We'll season this up. Okay, so I got my my 2 racks trimmed up. We're ready to season them. I'm going to put some Heath Royals Sweet Barbecue Rub on one of them. I'll put it on both of them. But on one, I'm going to add the honey chipotle rub because I like it a little spicy. The wife, not so much. So let's go ahead and Let's get this honey chipotle on there. Make sure that's good to go. I'll take the biggest rack for the, so you want to season liberally. Okay. Now let me add some of this sweet rub on there. See how well this is going to work out. So don't be shy about the rub. It's all going to season the rib. Okay, so sweet rub. We'll put this primarily, this will be the only thing on this other rack. I made the mistake last week of making ribs and using hot barbecue sauce, some other hot rub that I had, and it was almost too much, but these should be fine. Okay, so we got the seasoning on this side. Go ahead, pat that down. Pat that down. You don't need to rub it, just pat it in. Okay, let's flip them over. Flip them over. All right, you know, they say you're supposed to have one clean hand, one dirty hand, but I always screw that up anyway, so I just go for it. So here's the chipotle. I'll put it on this one. This is my rib, my rack. Okay. And sweet rub, that's the wife's rack. We'll put that on there. Now don't be shy with the rub. It's all going to hopefully melt down into the rib and give you that sweet, succulent flavor. We're going to use a sweet barbecue sauce on one, and I haven't decided yet on this one. So there you go. All right, so now they're seasoned up. We're gonna go get the smoker ready to go. Pat these in a little bit. Okay. Those other pieces I cut off that I said were good eating, I'm gonna season those up, and then we'll get these out to the smoker. All right, I got the smoker set to 250 degrees. I'm gonna put these ribs in here. Pull the rack out. Now, something very important, when you put your racks on in your smoker, kind of bunch them together, because that's the way they're going to cook. So bunch them together, and you get a plump meat between the bones. So let's go ahead and put these on here. All right. Here's the pieces that I cut off the loin to make them St. Louis cut. Throw these on here. All right. Here's the pieces I'm cooking for Kaiser, because he likes it. You can hear him in the background a little bit. Okay, so we got those on there. Let's close it up. Yeah, it's Kaiser's anyway. So let's close this up. Now we're going to let these smoke. It's probably going to take 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to come back in an hour, and we're going to spritz these. And what we're going to look for is the color of the rib before we do the wrap. All right. So I'll be back in an hour. Okay. So it's been about an hour. We're going to open this up. We're going to take a look at the ribs, see what the color is, and then we're going to give them a spritz. Now my spritz is 50-50 apple juice and apple cider vinegar. So if you look at the ribs, they still got a ways to go, but they look a little dry. So I'm going to spray them a little bit with the apple cider vinegar and apple juice. Okay, close that up. We'll spritz these pieces down here. Okay, so we're going to let these go for another hour, and we'll come back. We'll take a look at them if they need spritz, or if the color's good, we'll do the wrap. All right. See you in about an hour. Okay, it's been an hour since we checked these the last time. Total of 2 hours in the smoker right now. Let's take another look. This is the 2-hour mark. They're looking pretty good. Can you get the? I'll give them another spritz. I don't think they're quite ready to wrap yet, so we'll let them go another hour or so. Okay. So close this up. We're still running at 250 degrees, and be back in an hour. We should be wrapping by then. Okay, the ribs been in the smoker for this is like the 3rd hour. Let's go ahead and take a look at them, see how they look. They've got pretty good color. I think they're ready for wrap. So let's get these into inside, and we'll get them on the wrap. We're gonna leave the smoker on at 250, and then we'll come back after we wrap these. Okay, now we're gonna wrap these ribs. What I've done, I placed 5 tabs of butter on here, some brown sugar, and I'm gonna just put a little bit of sweet barbecue sauce on here. Maybe. There we go. Okay, and we're going to take a rack of ribs. I think this is the sweet one. So we'll put this one on here. Meat side down, bone side up. Yeah, double wrap. Take 2 pieces of foil. Wrap it over the bone. Take the other side. Wrap it over. You want to get this as tight as you can, okay? Fold that over, fold that over. Okay, there's one. We'll do the same thing for the next rack. I only got 4 tabs, but that's fine. It'll work just fine. Brown sugar. Just a little bit. All right, and I got the same barbecue sauce, but I am going to, I guess I'll use the same barbecue sauce. I got some hot stuff here, but it's not open yet, and I've got my gloves on. Actually, I'll do this. This is a rib glaze, Cosmos rib glaze. I'm gonna put some of this. It's cherry apple habanero. So this ought to be pretty good for the spicy side of the ribs. So I'll put some of that in there. Put this back away. Take this rack of ribs. Meat side down. Okay. 2 sheets of foil over the edge. You really want to get over the edge to keep those bones from poking through as much as you can. Okay, fold this over, tight as possible. Fold that, fold that. Okay. Now these racks of ribs are ready to go back on the smoker. I'm probably looking at another 45 minutes to an hour onto the smoker wrapped. Once I pull them off, I'll bring you guys back, and we'll put the final glaze of the barbecue sauce on them. Okay, the ribs have been wrapped in foil for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Let's go ahead and see how they're doing. What I like to do, you take the ribs, you do a bend test. If they bend real easy, you know they're done. So these are bending pretty good. I'll go ahead, we'll take these out of the smoker. And we'll sauce them up, and we'll put them back in the smoker just for 15 minutes or so. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and unwrap these ribs. Be careful because there's probably a lot of juice in there. There you see it. Okay, what you want to do, tilt this up. Look at that, huh? Let some of that drip off. Put them on the sheet pan here. Fold this back up. Try not to spill it. If you fold it right, you can probably get away with not spilling any of it. Okay? Do the same thing for the other rack. Unfold it. Careful. A lot of juice in there. You see the pullback on the bones? That's telling you that they're done. Okay? Knock some of the juice off. Put it on your pan. Fold this up. Okay. So go ahead and open these up. These are the parts that we cut off the rack. And now I didn't put any butter or brown sugar or anything on here because I think this is the way the wife wanted it. So we're going ahead. We're going to put some sauce on these. And we're going to stay with the sweet barbecue sauce. So just drizzle some on there. Maybe. Drizzle some on there. And brush it around. Okay. Now we'll do the same thing for the other rib. You can stack that on there. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay. Paint that on there real good. Now you can't have you can have too much sauce on these, so you got to spread it out, kind of thin it a little bit. Put some of this on here, and that one here. Okay, that should be enough. Now, all that's left is to put these back on the smoker. Probably 15-20 minutes would be plenty of time. Let me grab another glove here. One. There's two. Okay, like I said, those will stay on there 15-20 minutes. After that, I'll bring you back. We'll get them in the house and cut them up. Okay, so I let the ribs hang out on the smoker for another, I'd say 20 minutes. I pulled them off. I brought them in the house. Here's what we got. Here's what we're looking at right now. They look pretty good to me. Let me get a cutting board. We'll cut some of these up. Take a look at it. Okay, I'm going to cut one of these in half so it'll fit on the cutting board. So you cut these open, let me cut one off. Sometimes it's hard to find the center. All right, take a look at that. Let me take a test. These are not, this is not the spicy rack, but they are good. Okay. So this is Papa Does doing his ribs. If you got any requests you want me to cook up, let me know. I do a lot of do a lot of smoking and grilling, and I got it, like using the Weber kettle. So if you like the video, go ahead and hit a thumbs up. Subscribe. I don't know when the next video will be, but punch the notification bell. All right. We'll see you next time.